Hi, everyone. Welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathy, and I do not like that thing back there, so I need to change it. Who's here? Say hi. Roll call. Hey, Loose Can, how are you? I want to change this. I do not like it. Let me say. Sorry, I just decided I do not like that layout. Exit. All right, well, I guess I'm stuck with it right now. Anyway, hi. Okay, I'm stuck with it. My technical difficulties, I will have to figure them out later. It's really weird. Okay, so if you're new, say hello. My name's Kathy. This is Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. Its channel's about 3 years old. We figured out yesterday that my very first real video that I made was on the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell case. Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. And it was on January 20th of 2020. So right when it was hitting the mainstream media. And so that's what we're mostly going to talk about today is the trial. The trial is on, and hello, Marilyn Landis. And thank you, Sensible Crime, for reminding people to hit the thumbs up. Good to see everyone. Hi, Lori Day. All right, I'm going to say hi to you guys for a minute here. Loose Can, Sun Hiker Mutt, Freedom Ring, and Louisa Armio. Thank you. Christian, hey. Bamacott from Tennessee. Hello and welcome. What did you say? I just found out the Trezell and J. West trial was off for this week. Explains why so little coverage. Yes, it was off. Yes. I thought I said that last week, but probably if you weren't here the whole time, you probably did miss it. But it will be back again on Monday. And Monday is just crazy because opening statements for Lori Vallow. We got Letitia Stalk on trial. The West trial comes back. I mean, every case that I've been following for several years now is back this week. Let's see, Marilyn Landis. Hello, Jenny. And Sensible Cry just said hello. PLM. Nightbot, welcome to Nightbot. Nightbot's going to behave for us. We're thinking, hopefully, Stephanie. And okay, I think I gotcha. Yes, finally, Lori in court on Monday. So I am trying a new setup. So if I look like I'm looking somewhere else, it's just because I got a bigger screen behind my camera right now. And Ruby called me out on it. She said I looked like I was rolling my eyes yesterday. So I moved over a little bit. You guys can tell me if it looks dumb or if it looks okay. So Lori, we have our official Left Undone correspondent. I don't see her here yet, but she has an invite to come in and talk to us today. And Idaho Mom Reports. She is a local in the Boise area. She's been following this case in my channel from the very get-go. And she has been there every day at the trial for us. So that's wonderful because, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people tweeting and stuff, but it's really nice to have somebody that I can literally ask questions back and forth to. And she's been in our Discord all day while she's in the trial. She was in their jury selection. She's been in the Discord all day answering questions. And so if you're not in Discord, you might want to join because she has been amazing. Like, she tells us what's going on. She basically tweets it to Discord, straight to Discord, our Discord. And then we can interact with her and ask her questions like, what is Lori doing? What is Lori, you know, what did she just do? Or she'll tell us things. So not always on the bigger networks and stuff they're tweeting. We can't really, well, we can ask them, but it's not always going to get answered, right? So, and I know Nate and Justin have been doing a good job of that as well. Nate Eaton from East Idaho News and Justin Lum from Fox 10 Phoenix. Right, Marilyn? Two witches at trial at the same time. Letitia Stalk is definitely a wicked witch. I mean, have you been listening to hers? I got caught up this morning. I was cleaning my closet and I got caught up on the Letitia Stalk trial, and her neighbor, who also was like playing herself as a internet sleuth, seriously, got a fake profile and interacted with Letitia and got some really good information out of her. And Letitia basically told her she'd pay her to lie for her. So it's been interesting. And she was on the stand. Excuse me. That woman was on the stand. Yes, Friday. I think she was the last witness. So it should be an interesting next week too. let's see. Just a friend. You got to get more devices set up to watch all three while work. I know it's going to be so hard. I know I am going to try to listen to the West trial because it's streamed but not recorded at all, and you can't record it. And then I'll probably catch up with the Stout when they're on break. But I'm going to be working at the same time. So I'm going to miss stuff, but I'll try to get as much as I can. And then, of course, watching Idaho Mom Reports with the, with her tweeting, or not really tweeting, but keeping us all updated in Discord. So, Loose Can, hello. Thank you. You're not really interested in the West trial? Yeah, I started following it for some reason. It got my attention, and so I don't want to drop it, but I am definitely interested in it because I'm very curious about the evidence that they have. So far, I haven't gotten any that I think is credible enough to convict without reasonable doubt. So we'll see what happens next. So let's see. I should message her. I can't see my phone. So if she's texting me, that's not going to work because I can't see my phone right now because my phone is my camera. My son informed me that my iPhone, I have an iPhone 13. He said, Mom, the reason these phones are so expensive isn't for texting. It's for the cameras. Like the cameras are really good cameras. And so, I don't know if I have it set on HD right now, but I've had it set on when I was in Greece and stuff. I used it for my whole video vlog there, and I had it on 4K. So you don't need to see me in 4K. I mean, but the scenery is gorgeous in 4K. So let's see if I don't see her in the chat. Hi, Jane. Sorry, I'm kind of looking around because the chat is behind, so Ruby doesn't yell at me for rolling my eyes. So yeah, Larry is going to have to testify probably, right? I'm curious about how much he can testify to. Obviously trying to find and get a hold and maybe communication with Lori. Hopefully they'll have him first and then he can go, there's something in my eyeball. I just put on mascara right before this, and I think there's a piece of fuzz or something. So if I keep picking at my eye, that's why. So we got the jury. I think he said 10 men and 8 women or 6 women. They won't know who the alternates are for Lori's trial. They won't know who the alternates are until they go to deliberate, which makes sense because then they're going to all pay attention, right? As if they are going to be deliberating. So, I mean, but honest to goodness, these people are going to their jaw's going to hit the floor. If they don't know anything about this case, I mean, zombies and portals, and I can't imagine not knowing anything about this case and coming in and sitting down and hearing James and Elena and, zombies and portals. And if you don't know, if you are new, because I know this case is getting a lot of, right. This case is getting a lot of attention all of a sudden more. Like my channel's gotten a lot of subscribers over the last week. I have videos, 3 years worth of videos on this case, and they go back to the very beginning. But if you want the deep dive on this case, I have put together a podcast. It's called Afterglow, Unveiling the Idaho Cult. It's doing very well. It goes all the way back to the beginning, back to all Lori's husbands, all the hell she put Joe Ryan through, fighting over Ty Lee, the hell she put Colby's father through, fighting for Colby, the Wheel of Fortune that she was on, what else? I mean, there's just so much in the history before Charles was shot. Charles is Lori's husband, number 4, that her brother Alex murdered. And that trial will be, I'm assuming it's going to come after there's a verdict in this case. So that's what, that's just crazy. And so if you don't know anything about this case, Afterglow Unveiling the Idaho Cult, you can watch it online. You can watch it on Apple. You can watch it on Stitcher, Spotify. And I don't like that my glasses. I know you guys, people don't really like reflection, but I can't make it go away unless I shut this. Hold on, let me change this. The lighting might get bad though. Hold on one second. I don't know if that's any better or not. Let me know if closing the shade is better or worse. So Afterglow Unveiling the Idaho Cult, it is a podcast that goes down every rabbit hole. I start out every intro saying, a rabbit hole. Like, this is rabbit hole. So if you want to know stuff if you think you know everything about this case, you don't. And when I'm going back and making the episodes, I'm learning more stuff that I didn't think I knew, that I didn't know. So we listen to this stuff a lot, but there's so much to these people. These people are they're horrible. I mean, they're horrible. They murdered 2 children, for crying out loud, and a spouse and another spouse. And I mean, innocent allegedly, but innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Luckily, I am not in that court of law because I have definitely made up my mind. I'm trying to get back to this. 1 second. I lost my place here. Okay. Let me go to your comments. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for putting in the link to the podcast. Very helpful. Thank you very much. How long will Lori's trial be? We're hearing 8 weeks. So I don't know if last week counts, but we're hearing 8 weeks. So last week would be week 1. If it's going to be 8, that would be 7 more weeks. Hi, Ruby. I am planning on trying to go for at least a couple of days at some point. I would love to be there for the verdict. I said this last night in our members live, which actually was public by my mistake. Now it's back to being members only. There's a lot of things we do here that are members only. We have Discord. It's open to everybody, but there's also a bunch of channels in Discord and a chat channel or voice channel and stuff in there that we can talk. And we spend a lot of time in there. So you're welcome to join. But if you want to join Left Undone as a member, it's $2.99 a month. That's the only level I have. It's the only level I plan on having. I used to have different levels. It just too much for me. And again, if you're new, you're fine, Ruby. If you're new, I work full time as a nurse. So I'm a registered nurse. So this is side gig, really. And I'd love to be here more, believe me. I wonder how many jurors know more about this case than they admitted to be on the jury. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, are you sure you only heard a little bit about Hawaii and a reporter? Apparently that came up a lot. And I don't know where Idaho Mom Reports is. She's had a rough week. Maybe she fell asleep and forgot about us. So we'll just keep talking about it because I know what she had told us during the trial. Lori, it appears that Lori was being pretty interactive with her attorneys, looking at people. Apparently she cried at one point when a juror said something. And that's a good question. What did everyone think about the whole jury choosing process? I think they went pretty faster than I thought, to be honest. But a lot of people seem like they knew a lot. And a lot of people seem like they didn't want to be there. I mean, clearly it's a hard thing to do to be on an 8-week trial. As a juror, I was on a 3-day trial one time and it was too much. I mean, it was long. It felt long. I missed work. I missed stuff, I'm looking. Gabe wasn't in prayer circle, but let Charles down a huge way. He did. Because he kind of started making excuses for Lori when they called they called him when she was at the police station and they were trying to help her get out of being sent to being evaluated for her mental health. And Gabe sort of covered a little bit for Lori and all that, I think, which is, he definitely let Charles down. I believe that. Yeah, jury selection did go fast. Crocodile tears. Lori had crocodile tears. I mean, when she makes, if her brain is really brainwashed in all this, and she starts seeing all that evidence in court, and reality starts hitting in, I don't know what we're going to see from her, you know? I really don't, but she's going to see all the evidence too. She's going to be right there. And I don't know, it may hit her like a ton of bricks. Hopefully it does. Hit her like a ton of bricks. She's going away forever. No, it's not. No, they picked 8. There's 18. I believe it's 10 men and 8 women. There will be 12 that deliberate, but they have the alternates that will be paying attention to the entire thing, because they won't tell us they won't tell the alternates who they are. They don't know. They're going to pick it at some point. Judge Boyce does that. So there's definitely more women on there. There's 10 men. It's either 10 men and 6 women, or 10 men and 8 women. Lori Day has it. Okay. I saw you. Things are okay. Yeah, there it is. 8 women and 10 men. Yeah, that because Idaho Mom Reports, she was there. She watched the whole thing, and that's what she told us. So 18 on the jury, but not 18 watching as if they are the jury, but only 12 will get to deliberate, and they don't know which 12 it'll be. It could be 10 men and 2 women at that point, but we don't know. The alternates are literally chosen from a hat pretty much right before they deliberate. So yeah, so they're going to all have to pay attention really well at that Lori, that trial. And I just can't imagine. I'm still so bummed that we don't have cameras. I really wish that I could be there every single day. If I didn't have to work for a living, I would definitely be there. This is Rebecca. She shed a tear when juror was asked about seeing pictures of deceased kids. Yeah, well, hopefully Lori will shed some more tears. But I only want her to shed tears because I want her to realize what she's done and how horrible it is, and then put her away forever. Let's see. I'm looking back at your things. Jenny, I think it would be interesting to be on a jury. I had the opportunity once, but my kids were really little, so I wasn't chosen. Yeah, I turned down jury duty last week. Last week, I got called for jury duty. I'd be on a jury right now, probably. Could you imagine? Like, all the trials we're watching, and then I get called for jury duty at the exact same week. What? But my mom's like, you can use me for an excuse. And I did. She is my excuse. I take care of my mother. She's 85 and she lives with me. So to leave every day. And that's why one of the great parts of working from home is I can be here for her. So last year I don't know what this county has going on. Like everybody that moves in the county, because I've only been here for 3 years. Not even. Have I been here 3 years? 20. Yeah. No, I moved in October of 2020. So not yet. I've been called twice since I've moved here for jury duty. And I didn't go because of my mom both times. But at some point, they're going to get me. But I have been on a jury before. It was when I lived in Orange County, and it was a really interesting process. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being part of that experience. I thought it was great to be able to have that ability to go through the whole process and be part of it. I liked it. I would do it again. I'd love to be on a trial like this. Let's see. Where are you guys? You've only been summoned 2 times since you registered for. I got summoned all the time when I was little. I mean, when my kids were little, all the time. I was usually breastfeeding, so that was my way. I couldn't go then, and nobody was gonna go watch my like. I had 4 kids. Like they're like, no, sorry. um, let's see. And neither besides extended period of time away from home. Yeah, that's the problem with it. Now, my work that I work for will pay for 2 weeks. They'll pay my full salary for 2 weeks. But if it's a 10-week trial or an 8-week trial, I'd be in trouble because I got to pay my bills, right? That sketch art is very sketchy. I think it's a hard job though, right? And whoever she is, she's not even in the courtroom. She's literally in the room watching it on the TV. So give her a little bit of a break on that. Yeah, I'm just bummed. I think that even if you're not doing cameras, maybe the audio, like the West case is the court is streaming the audio. They're like, don't record it, but we're streaming it. And I appreciate that, because it is public. It's a public case. It's like it's public. The public has every right to know. Public vote these people into office, right? It's the people against. Who are the people? So that it does irritate me that it's all, if you come here, you can watch, but if you're not here, you can't. I saw Kresha had a live, was it a live this morning? I watched the replay, and she's up there. And, this has to be really hard for all of them. But they're there. This is happening. I saw an interview with Kay Woodcock. She says she can't wait. She goes, I'm going to have to check the rules, but I can't wait to just stare her down. That's what Kay says. I'm going to have to stare her down. So I thought that was funny. But she's going to check the rules first to make sure she's allowed to stare her down. I've been like, that's not what I'm doing, Lori. I wonder if Lori will make eye contact with her. I would bet she wouldn't. Larry is 75 years old now. Yeah, I think this has aged him. When I saw the original pictures of him, it's aged all of us, and we're not even the family, right? You know what I mean? Just everything we've learned about how horrible this is. I know, sensible crime with their red nose is hilarious. It's perfect. It's her signature. It's been that way from the beginning. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Back to your comments. They're kind of behind my camera, so I'm looking around. Ruby, don't get mad. She's like my director, producer, director with the. Hi, sunshine in my heart. How are you? Good to see you. I'm just looking at you guys. Okay, so we are paging Idaho Mom Reports. Maybe she got the time wrong, but so what else did she say? You guys remind me. Oh, there she is. She's chatting in Discord, so we'll see what happens here. Because I really want her to tell you about what she saw and how she experienced everything and who was there and who she talked to. Okay. It's Idaho, so I expect Brian Kohlberger. Probably not. Idaho is very secretive. It's very strange to me. Also, I know you guys, a lot of people aren't following the Noah McIntosh case, but I have several videos up about that. It is local here in the county I live in, and it was a horrible case. This father tortured and murdered his son, and the mom is being sentenced on Monday for her part in what she knew and what she didn't do and all that stuff too. And I think Lori and I are going to try to go to part of that case trial. It's supposed to be in May. I'm keeping my eyes open because they've moved it so many times. It literally happened in 2019 as well, and it still hasn't gone to trial. But it's a case that needs a lot more attention than it's getting. CPS failed this little boy tremendously. There has been a lawsuit against CPS in Riverside County, California, because of this case. It brought it all to light. And they have not found Noah's body, but his dad bought acid, and they found gloves. So I think he literally disintegrated the kid's body, it sounds like, with acid and stuff. It's awful. It's an awful, awful one. And he's little, he should be 13. He was 13 this week. He would have been 13 this week. So 4 years ago. So he was what, 11, 12, 13, 10, 9, 10, I don't know. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Bad math. So, so she's coming. Are you coming to did I give you the entrance to the green room here or the back room so you can pop on here? Or do I need to send it? I can't see my phone. It's my camera. All right. Well, let me know if you can get in here or not. I thought I sent it to you. Let me look at my messages. Yes, I did. It's in there. Okay. I did. So, anyone else in the chat that's gone to the trial, that's going to try to go to the Lori Vallow trial? Lori Vallow, Daybell, Lori Vallow, don't know what her name is anymore. And so if you are there, you could say hi to Idaho Mom Reports. She has a channel as well, but she is going to come on here and give us our weekly, daily, whatever, however often we can do it, report. And hopefully all this stuff will be done. All these trials will be done before September, because I'm going on vacation in September and I will be out of the country, and it'll make me crazy if Chad's on trial during that week or something. I'm going to lose it because I'm going on my vacation, but I would definitely be distracted, be live streaming in the middle of the night. There you go. I think it keeps saying device not detected. I'll wait and see until that works for you to come in. That's just weird. It's flashing. Something's flashing. That I think she's there now. Let's see what happens. Okay. So like I've been saying, Idaho Mom Reports has been at the trial. She was there all week for the jury selection. She even took her mom one day, and we let her come on in and she can tell you guys all about it. Let me bring her in here. Here you are. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. She's there, but she's not. I hear talking in the background. She'll tell us when she's here. Just chat. Put it in the chat when you're actually ready, okay? So, Letitia Stout, I hope that, I don't know how long this trial is supposed to last. I think it's supposed to last a while, but again, just another horrible case. And I feel so bad for Landon. But it just goes to show you, like, it's so risky to have other people in your kids' lives. It's just scary risky. And who knows, you feel like you pick people that you're going to trust to be in your kids' lives. Like I'm sure Al at some point thought, but there had to be red flags with Letitia. There had to be. She had to be manipulative and just a jerk. I don't think he went from, oh, my wife, wonderful wife, to my wife's a murderer. Maybe he thought she was never capable of that, but all right, back to chat here. Rebecca, I think Chad will plead out to avoid death penalty and won't have a trial if DA offers a plea. Do you? I would think he would too, but is he going to come on as a witness against Lori? Because for the plea, right? He'll have to do that. I would think. I don't know. Does anybody know how that would work? You heard Gannon was complaining about her. Yeah, probably rightly so, too. If he was, he probably should have been. But if you heard the recording and stuff about how she was telling him, the lady's gonna, we might have to, so she's gonna kick us out of here, Gannon, and you didn't do it on purpose. And he's like, I'm just worried about my burns. And she's like, shh. She's just she's a horrible person. I don't even know what else I can say without using swear words. I think the plea will come once they see how strong the state's evidence is against Lori. But don't they kind of know? Like, don't they know how strong the evidence is? Or, I mean, maybe once Chad knows exactly what's happening. Is he able to watch the trial? Is Chad able to watch the trial? That's my other thing. Is he able to listen later to the audio, or does he have to get the blow by blow from Pryor, his attorney? I have so many questions. Another reason why I wish I was there, because I would be asking people, excuse me, I have a question. I have a question. So does John Pryor need to apply for a ticket into Lori's trial now that the cases are severed? Good question. Idaho Mom Reports says that he keeps showing up, marches right up to the front, sits by Justin Lum and Nate Eaton, what blows in and blows out. You had it. You had the StreamYard. Hold on. It's in. She has it. It's in the chat. It's in our private messages on Discord. She has it. I don't know. Let me see if I can do it from here. Sorry, everybody. No. It's the same link. It's in there. There you are. It just says device not connected though. So something's not connecting in your Wi-Fi or something. But you're here. Nails on a blackboard, the way Letitia talks at triple speed, her high-pitched side stories all the way, her Southern California accent comes in and out. She's just... And did you guys all saw that interview with her where her back is to the camera and then she's getting Harley? Did you guys see that? PLM sent a link in Discord today. Harley had a GoFundMe. Somebody's doing a deep dive on that story, and another creator that's writing a book, I guess. But Harley is her daughter. She's in here, Ruby, but it just says her device is not connected. Now it says it's connected. I'm going to bring you. Now it says it's not connected. It says they will need to. It keeps going in and out. Every time it says it's not connected, a thing pops up to tell me what you do, but then you get connected. And this is a lot of technical difficulties going on, ma'am. Let me try. I'm going to bring you on. Okay, you're here. Okay, you're gone. Connect their mic and cam before you can add them to the stream. You need to connect your mic and camera before I can add you to the stream. So you just connect your camera, but then you can turn it off. I see Chad turning on Lori since she's been saying all along that he didn't know Lori's kids were buried in his backyard since his arrest. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to try. Here we go. I'll add you again. Okay. You hear me?
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Hey, good. All right, welcome.
Sorry, I was trying to get the camera.
To connect.
Yeah. I tried it on the big computer, and I'm on my phone, but I'm here.
Okay.
Um, I would have liked to have done it on the big computer because I've been preparing all this stuff to share with you all.
Hmm. But what are you using for your camera?
Um, I don't know. I'll have to look over that. I've been looking. I really like Discord. I've been looking at all the features. In fact, there's a lot of stuff I really like about it. That's really so. I prepared something for today, even about the jurors that were dismissed as a peremptory challenge.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't
Tell
know.
us everything you know.
Did y'all want to hear about
Yeah.
that? I was kind of hoping to do it with camera, but I'll just go ahead and do it this way.
The camera thing is I use my phone for my camera, but my Mac and my iPhone can hook up wirelessly to StreamYard but you have an Android though, right? You don't have an iPhone.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I
I don't know.
apologize. I thought it was something that I. Anyway, I'm here,
No, go
and
ahead. You're here.
I just. And the nice thing about Discord is the search features. In fact, on the big, I've been on the big computer all afternoon looking up, just the numbers that were actually excused. And of course, all this in Discord were like, well, they seemed like a good um, person. But I did write down like some of what is said. Of course, anybody on Discord can go ahead and look this up. But I thought it might be interesting to share.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, well, the numbers that I wrote down, it was pretty well complete. Excuse me, I think I was missing a few of the numbers. So what I did is I just went into the thread bar and I typed in, like, for instance, number 1128, and this juror 1128 who was dismissed. We're not certain if it was by the defense or the prosecution, but uh, this person knew about Hawaii. They seemed sincere. Number 874. This was somebody that we met on day one around 1:45 p.m. Smith had asked him about the conspiracy. This person wasn't in a part of that group where it just seemed like there was a lot of pilots. So remember, Lindsay Blake's analogy on folks. We need people who can land the plane, not people that think they can land the plane. Of course, that came up all the time, as we know. The voir dire is very repetitive, and we all got used and even kind of giggled at some of the routine that became obvious pretty quick. Um, and this person was removed, even though they feel they seemed credible to all of us who were on Discord and to me. I'm sure we remember juror number 666. He was removed as a peremptory challenge. What was said about him, but in our Discord is he does have a minor in religious studies. That was more of an academic type of study. He didn't come across as somebody particularly passionate about any kind of religion, one way or another. He was looking at it, more as an overall perspective. And number 140, we met him on day 2 at 3:50 p.m. And he said he could land the plane, and he had a good answer to when he was asked what brutal honesty is.
So just
On
to
day
interrupt
3
for
we met number.
1 second. A peremptory challenge is, I just got the definition, a defendant or lawyer's objection to a proposed juror made without needing to give a reason. So
And it's not appealable either.
So Lori could be the one saying no on that person. It says a defendant or lawyer's objection.
And some of these, as I go on, and this is what I thought was interesting, is it does become obvious who most likely used up one of the peremptory challenges. Because I'm sure your audience knows each side gets 12 strikes for whatever reason, and it is not an appellate issue. And of course, what was that court? Okay, what they cannot do, and the judge does look for any pattern of unlawful discrimination, because of course that does happen. It did not seem to happen in this trial. And I'll just go down the list, and if you have any questions or any thoughts, and of course, I'm giving the time that we saw them or when they spoke, so you can go ahead and listen on East Idaho News if you'd like. I personally did not find it boring. I think a lot of people found it very interesting, and I would encourage anybody to watch it or listen to it. Excuse me. Okay, number 1020. He was removed as peremptory challenge. Remember, he had survived all the, all the questionnaires, all the interrogations that they had, all the questions they've been asked, and he'd done a good job. So he had made it to the final 45, I guess it actually was. But then he was removed, and we don't know why, but what we do remember about number 1020 is that he was a sports guy and doesn't find news important. So he doesn't watch the news, and whether what news people watched, and their news source, and the term came up, and this wasn't like a slam by the judge in any way. It's an actual legal term. It's media contamination, media saturation. So this person did not have a lot of knowledge, and he doesn't watch news. So he's actually a good candidate as far as giving Lori a fair and impartial trial. So, okay, but he is a sports guy. News isn't that important to him, in my opinion. I'm guessing the prosecution removed him. I mean, come on, he's a sports guy, and there's Lori. She could have played a little cheerleader thing to him. I'm thinking. I don't know though. Number 1199, we met him on April 4th. So that would have been, let's see, day 2. He was a probation officer, and he actually kept coming back quite a bit. My bet is the defense had him removed, despite the fact that he came across as very credible and very, it seemed like he would have been impartial to Lori given the situation. And of course, it's been discussed, with us, but also I've seen other content creators discussing it. Well, supposedly there's a theory out there that law enforcement officers, defense attorneys don't tend to like them. It doesn't mean that they're, and this is just a defense for or whomever striking this potential juror for any reason. On 2 juries, one in Ada County, one in Oregon. He seems like a great candidate. I don't, number 631, we met this person on April 4th, 2023. And this was an interesting one. I feel like it was the prosecution to have this person struck. Okay, so we met her on day 2, and she's the one that had at some point worked at the legal aid in Idaho Falls at some point, and she was asked about that. Mostly they wanted to make certain that she didn't have a relationship with any of the attorneys, kind of a thing. And they'd ask her about names in the office, and to assess her impartiality. And of course, the prosecutor Smith actually did stress how she felt about impartiality to both sides. And also, so she, to me, I'm guessing working at legal aid, she really would have been a good witness for Lori. I'm guessing. Number 631 also says she doesn't follow the news a whole lot. So somebody had her removed. I'm betting prosecution. I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think. Number 745, we met number 745 on the first day on April 3rd, 2023. She has 3 small children. And she did answer it would be hard for her to see graphic photos. And of course, it was determined that that she would have been fair and impartial. So she made it all the way to the final round, kind of a thing. And I'm guessing it was the defense who used one of their strikes against her. She did seem like she would have been a good witness, of course, but perhaps with 3 small children, and I know it'd be hard, And on, let's see, number 906, we saw this person on April 4th, 2023 on day 2, and he was an EMT for a local company, and Lori in our Discord actually described him as someone who's professional, not emotional, and I would agree with that. He seemed like he'd make an excellent witness. He was aware, he had heard of the case, but he was unaware of any formal charges. And let's see. Yeah, I'm guessing that maybe the defense had him moved for, but maybe not. He seemed like he was very logical, very but maybe it's the fact that, perceived as maybe an authority figure or something like that, perhaps, or maybe it was the prosecution who had him removed. Oh, he did say he had some knowledge, although Boyce said it had not rose to the level of concern. We met juror 1013 on April 3rd, 23, at 1:15 p.m. So Phil, I'm giving the date so in case you all want to go find this yourself, whether it be on our Discord or Nate's the audio that has been released by East Idaho News. Feel free to listen for yourself. It's very interesting, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion in our group. Let's see. This is actually a female, and she was somebody. Do you remember when it was asked? Like in her airline pilot analogy, and of course, Kathy and I, we have experience with a lot of pilots, so of course. It just seemed like this particular group, there really were a lot of a lot of pilots in there so when they're asked, can you land the plane? And they're literally airline pilots. So of course, what became metaphorical,
they took it literally,
actually literal. And
yes, I can land that plane. Don't you worry. Come on board.
They can. But of course, they would qualify. They are a pilot, so yes. But so then Lindsay would go back a little bit, and explain. But metaphorically, in this situation, of course, they could land the plane, and but she wasn't somebody that said she was a pilot. But she did say that she had a family member who is a former Bush pilot and is now an airline pilot. So. Yeah, yay for, because we all love Bush pilots. We got Bush pilots in the house, and we got some airline pilots in the house. Awesome. So number 7. Oh, but she was struck anyway. Number 1013. She seemed credible to me. I didn't. For whatever reason, she was struck. I think she would have been a great witness. Maybe it's because she was female. Seriously, but maybe not. I don't know. Number 756. We met this person on April 3rd of 2023, so that would be day 1. They had served on a jury, and my notes are interesting here. I said had served on a jury in 1983, but I'm willing to bet that was actually a 1983 civil rights case. I am guessing, and I am betting, because 1983 would have been so long ago, and of course I'm maybe really reading way too much in this, but a Section 1983 case would have been, that's those cases where it's a deprivation of rights by force under the color of federal law. That's not really serious, but so this person had been a juror on that case. So so perhaps maybe the thought was one or the either defense or the prosecution felt that this person would be going back to the case that she had already served on as a juror. And maybe she would, maybe not. And it did say that she was asked about children, but I actually don't, I did not write down her answer. So that's something I'd like to, if somebody happens to listen to the audio from the first day, will you mind letting me know about number 756, whether this person has children or not? Then we had 1167. We met this person on April 5th of 23. This person did have concerns about being sequestered, which, by the way, it's still a possibility. Although, as of this moment, the jury has not been sequestered. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it got that far, in my opinion. But however, he did say he could commit for the entire 8 weeks. He was familiar with the defendant's name. He did have Netflix, but he had not seen Netflix. He had not seen the trailer. And by the way, the Netflix documentary, that seemed to be a favorite question of Judge Boyce. He would ask, of course, about Netflix and specifically ask about the 2020 interview Dateline. And and then he did ask about YouTube, and of course one of our favorite reporters, Nate's interview in Hawaii, kept coming up quite a bit. So juror number 1167, who, by the way, made the very I guess he got to the semifinal. He did not make the final round. We'll just put it that way. he did say that he remembers seeing the defendant in Hawaii. Um, he did say that none of the news reporters led him to any kind of opinion either way, and I thought that was an important statement that he made. His wife happens to be an attorney, and she clerks for federal court. And his wife often stresses the importance of impartiality and fairness. I personally think he would have made a great juror, but perhaps somebody, there was somebody that they like better, or for whatever reason. And then we have number 415. I don't have the day of when we met her exactly, but she's a female. She had the pilot analogy mentioned to her. Smith also discussed the conspiracy with her and gave the example of it was a question that was often asked by the prosecution, that such as if you disagree with a law or a rule, does that mean that you can go ahead and use your own definition? Which, of course, no, you can't. The judge is the final authority on how the law is applied. So of course, all these questions are to elicit a response and to really find out if this is a person that could follow instruction by the judge. And this person, to me, seemed like they would be great. Smith did give her a specific example, which I think is interesting, which was if somebody drove a car to a bank robbery, would they be as guilty as the person who actually robbed the bank? And the answer is yes, under Idaho law. And that was described, and I can't remember if, because it would be up to the actual judge to say how the law is applied. But so she was using that as an example, if I remember right. But anyway, but that's interesting because of course, Lori, from what we're gathering, it does seem like it's a conspiracy charges where if Lori is found guilty, it'll be based on the conspiracy theory versus actually doing it herself. So that's just something that was very interesting. Let's see, on April 3rd,
wait, hold on. I want to answer some of the questions in the chat before you go on.
Sorry.
Asking you questions.
I only have about 3 or 4 more.
That's okay. I just want to go back to a couple of the questions that they asked you while we're thinking about it while you were on this subject.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know you're just looking at your notes. So Lori says, what are your thoughts about jurors possibly knowing more about the case than they stated? Do you feel like they were kind of like wiggling out of it a little bit? Like, I know, but I don't want to say.
That feeling. I did get the feeling there were people who really didn't want to be there. And they would rather not. However, when pushed a little bit, they were willing to, do their part, their civic duty. I really didn't see anybody that said, well, we did have a few no-shows, so I don't know, which, by the way, seemed, I kind of feel bad. The judge didn't seem very patient.
All right, oops, shoot, I just lost you guys.
I'm sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. It broke up for just a second, but let me see it. There was another question. And Rebecca said the same thing. She said, I think some jurors know more than they admitted so they could serve. I would have kept the cards close to my chest to serve that trial. That's why I'm thinking there's got to be some of them, and maybe they caught on to them and let them go, but
the sound went out a little bit, but I hear that correctly, like people actually wanting to not admitting that they knew as much as they did so they could stay on the trial.
Yeah, that's what she's asking.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. They'd probably be pretty good liars, though, if that did happen, because the questions there were specific questions asked regarding, like for instance, what apps do you have on your phone? What news feed pops up? But there are some skilled liars out there, so
Yeah.
I would hope not. It didn't seem to me like that would be the case. But of course, we've seen in other trials. I mean, jurors can make a lot of money selling books.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so you have a couple more that were kicked off. Do you have the ones that were kept? Do you have info on them too?
Oh, it looks like I just have one more.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
feel free, anybody, to look this up on Discord or
Sure.
listen.
No, it was amazing. We can go back. That's what's so great because we broke
Yeah,
everything
well,
up in
that's why
Discord.
Discord is such an awesome tool, by the way.
We
It was
have
so
a
cool to
thread
be
for
able to
each.
just.
We have a thread for each day on Discord about what happened each day as she's sort of tweeting us on Discord, telling us what's going on. So anybody that's in Discord, you can go back on each thread and look at what happened each day. Go ahead.
Yeah, and my notes aren't perfect, but they're good. I mean, I pretty much got, I'd say about 85%. I got, you know, if
You did
if I
great.
didn't hear it, I didn't write it down.
You did great.
Just Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, Discord's just a really amazing tool for that, and it is just, and it's not as bad as it seemed. I thought I wasn't
Right.
really a fan at first.
It's crazy at first to get into Discord. I was lost.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Ruby
felt like,
still
for
can't
instance,
get out of places. She gets stuck, but you know.
yeah, and I was all set for. Anyway, I'm kind of just. I'll get it set so I can finally go on camera and give this to you guys. But let's see. Okay, so on April 3rd at 2023, we met number 755. And that's when I got the notice. I got the notice from, Holly, where are you? I was like, oh gosh. And I apologize. I remember thinking I need to double check to make sure she means 3 p.m. Pacific so I had it as 4 p.m.
Oh,
my
you're
time,
fine.
but I
Yeah,
apologize.
you're fine.
But anyway, those are my thoughts, and I don't. Let's see. I'm gonna try and any
Do you have
questions. If you wouldn't mind reading them to me, and
sure?
I'm just going to see if I can get this pulled up so I can at least see it on my big screen.
Yeah. Sure. Well, Lori has said, can you tell us about the jurors that were kept for the trial? Do you have notes on them?
No, I was waiting. Now, if somebody really wanted to, and maybe I will, you could go one by one, and then do the math kind of a thing for the numbers written. The final, their final list that they had, that was a list of people that were excused for the peripheral challenges. So that wasn't a final list of who's there. So, but we could probably piece together a final list if we wanted.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll know more later after, but
Yeah, it's and then also, I mean, I don't mind discussing it with your group and your people and everything, but because of course your people aren't going to go harass or people, but
we don't know their names.
yeah, it's I can't see our group doing that, but I don't know. It does seem like there's people
they're
out there who
there.
would.
They answered the same questions. I don't think anybody. We don't know them. Like, you know what I mean? So, I don't
Right,
think
yeah,
to know kind of their demographic and if they have
right,
kids,
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of
So
thing. Be nice to know.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's ways to really narrow down who these people are and even like where they live and really, but I'm not, and you're not interested in that. We don't do that. So.
No, we just want to know what kind, like what, like you told
Right,
us
like
this
who,
person was this,
like
this
how
is
many
what they
moms, for
did.
instance. I mean, that's a
Yeah,
question.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
any grandmas,
and
any
that's,
moms, right? Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and by the way, that was one of the. Do you remember the grandma who?
I hear an echo. I hear us on our delay.
Sorry. I'm trying to.
There, it's gone.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that you'll just be reading to me. I'm sorry.
You can look at your big screen. You just have to mute it.
Oh, I've got it's just easier this way. People will be waiting forever for me to log out.
Okay.
I've got so many. It's just but if this is something that's interesting, if people like how I've done this, please let me know, and then I will try to do more stuff like that for you. I imagine with the trial next week, it's going to be less technical, and we're going to know a lot more. Like, we're going to know the names of the witnesses testifying, for instance.
Right. I'm super
And of course,
interested in that.
and I'm sure that the opening statement on Monday will probably already, let's just prepare ourselves. There's going to be bombshells every single day.
Oh,
and I'd like to get the information to you all as soon as possible. I like Discord a lot. However, I don't want to send, I'm planning on maybe like when I'm finished going home and then reviewing, my notes and what's in Discord before just going out and just blatting out. I'd rather be right and maybe a little bit later than,
well, why don't we do
be
the
the
next
first.
day? Like, why don't we do, Monday on Tuesday, so you have time to chill,
Oh,
review
I
things.
probably, well, with Discord, it makes it so easy that people
Okay.
who have been following along on Discord could ask me questions
Okay.
for that day.
But I mean, like, coming on a live stream.
Okay. Well, we'll get that. I'm sure we'll get that figured out. I just on Monday. Okay. Anyway, you and I can talk about it later. But of course, if people want to let me or their preference, I'm open to anything.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, we're all work in progress here, trying to figure out how to follow a trial, keep updated on everything.
Oh, and we're
while
not the
there's
only ones.
further
I am
trials.
not kidding.
Yeah.
Probably every journalist there, and including other YouTubers, have said, I'm trying to figure out something that will work. It's the
Yeah.
same. Of course, Nate and Justin, they've got their tweets going every 5 minutes, but they're professional journalists. They do this all the time. And of course, they're a great source. I think I'm getting other stuff that people find very interesting. And I think it's great to have me, as well as Nate and Justin and somebody else, because the truth is we need as many eyes as possible in that room so that you all know what's going on.
Right. I want to come.
Well, you will. I
No, I
know.
want to be there the whole time. Like, I am having FOMO. Like, I am having FOMO. Like, fear of missing out rag right now. I want to go.
Oh,
I want to get on
yeah.
a
Oh,
plane
no.
right
There's no
now and
FOMO.
land in Boise right now.
Yeah,
I want to go.
it's a lot of hard work. I can say that, but I know you're not afraid of hard work.
No, it might be actually a little bit of a break from being a nurse. It's a little overwhelming at times, but
Yeah,
yeah, you're
it's
right.
and but I did log on. I ever heard somebody asking about John Pryor, and that's a good question. I do not know. Maybe that's why he's allowed to sit in that reserved area. That happens to be right in front of Nate and Justin.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to march right up there, like you said,
Yeah,
like
like
he
he owns
owns
the
the
place.
place.
I kind of figured,
So
in my opinion, it's kind of, to me, with what we see as his personality, which isn't necessarily bad, by the way, if you're on trial for murder. but I have a strong feeling that John Pryor doesn't have a long line of ladies wanting to date him necessarily, or that his family always, is happy to talk to him. But he does seem like he'd be somebody that if you needed legal assistance, he would be your guy.
also, she has a ticket. She has a golden ticket. She will be in the
Oh
courtroom
yeah,
on
that's right.
Monday. Not just in the overflow, but she did get the golden ticket to go in on Monday. So that'll be really good because she'll be not on a TV screen.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. I know that we have people that probably didn't hear this on our last live. So yes. So every day I will at least try to get, because we have to do it the morning before, the day before, and and there's only a certain amount of seats to go inside the courtroom, and of course those go really fast. So I decided, as uncomfortable as it is inside the courtroom, because you can't get up, stretch your legs, and we've had it pretty good in the overflow room, meaning being that it's a little more casual. You can eat, drink your soda or whatever, and I won't be able to do that in the courtroom. However, I do think, hey, if I've got people listening, I will try to get the best information possible. If I'm in the courtroom, I will be able to actually see her face and tell you what her reaction is versus the overflow. So I will try to do that every day. If I don't make it to the courtroom, that's fine. There's still, there's still all that being live streamed into the overflow with all kinds of information coming in.
Awesome. Well, it's exciting. 3 years in the making of us, this, all this. My channel, again, came, the only reason I have this channel was this case, to be honest. So, and here we are. Thank goodness, finally going to trial. That's all I can say. And I just hope that, it's not too torturous for the family to sit through. I always worry about that, how hard that has to be. And, but Kay and Larry, they're the ones that got this whole ball rolling. So everybody owes it to them, because I could see some grandmother being like, my grandson's gone, his mom's a jerk, she just ran off with them, and bummer. But she was
Kathy, do you think your viewers pretty much have gone over those? I mean, I know that you've actually, today I was just listening to your Afterglow again, and I would say the majority of your viewers are familiar with the FOIA docs and have even dove through them quite a bit, like everybody else has.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, and I know that we've done live streams, we talked about it, but I was just doing it again. And yes, and every time I do that, I'm like, wow, Kate and all of her strength and tenacity. And I mean, I know last night I was wondering how many people would have been killed if she wouldn't have stepped in like that, if she would have been so tenacious and so, I mean, she was not taking no. And you can see it with all the emails. Hello again, Detective Moffat, and she didn't care. She just, I am so impressed with her. And yes, I through my, experiences, like say with CPS, or not every parent's like that. Not every grandparent's like that. So good for Kay. And good for Larry.
Especially with an in-law kind of person, because your in-law people can be really, sometimes that relationship.
Right. And those don't get taken. And by the way, that's also another example of, and I've seen that too, because the in-laws, sometimes there is a tendency, not always, to feel like, oh, well, that's an in-law. And they're having marital problems. So, of course, grandma's going to have a problem. Which sounds like was the story that Lori and Chad were trying to sell for a while anyway. But people are prone to believe that kind of thing.
This isn't, so Jenny says Lori is charged with conspiracy for Tammy's death, right? If so, think they'll get into the finer details about how she was killed. I do. And we were saying, like, they were asking in the jurors, could you still believe somebody could murder even if there's no, we don't know the cause of death? They were asking that question a lot. And so we were like, well, who are they talking about? Tylee or Tammy? I'm thinking they're not talking about Tammy, because I feel like initially they said it was natural causes. So if they couldn't determine that it was murder, they wouldn't have brought those charges up. So I think they know how Tammy died. And if it's malachite, I'm going to fall over, because that was my theory.
I know. It's, what did her kids say it was again when they were on that interview for cause of death that they were told?
Asphyxiation.
Oh, okay. That's
suffocation. Like, okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if she was strangled. However, the malachite.
I'm curious about that, because that was our theory for a long time. If that, I'm just going to fall over if that actually is.
Yes, if that does turn out to be.
Like, hello.
Kathy, I will buy you a drink.
Not only the zombie letter, I want credit for the zombie email and the malachite if it happens.
Yes, and for sure. And everybody remember that Kathy got the zombie letter first, and even after she was ridiculed for so long, not by me and not by people in our group, but other people. She still stuck with her guns, and guess what? So I wouldn't be surprised if the malachite turned out to be true at all. In my opinion, I agree with you, Kathy. I think that when the prosecution was talking about that, a similar set of fact patterns could you convict on that without an actual cause of death? I
I think
because
it's
I know
Tylee,
just
right?
what the little that we do know about Tylee's death does seem
They couldn't determine it because they desecrated her. Right? That's what
I'm
I
sorry,
think.
I missed that last part. It just
Oh,
I will
no,
do a
I
better
said
job of
I don't think they could determine her death. It would be more likely they couldn't determine her cause because of what they did to her body. Like
correct. You know.
burned it and
And by the
stuff. Like,
way, we have been warned that even as early as Monday, we will be seeing graphic photos. And I
oh,
just want to thank everybody in Discord for I really have thought about it, prayed about it. Yeah, I think I can do it. And I have investigated child abuse cases before. I do know how to compartmentalize like in a healthy way. And actually, due to my TIA, I've been seeing a professional counselor anyway to help me with relaxation. People tend to do that when they have stroke. They'll get professional help, but that's a little off this. But I just
well,
want to let you all know that.
if you ask my daughter, she's in grad school. She's a marriage family therapist, already seeing patients, and she thinks we all need therapists. She
When
says
we do,
everybody,
and I know I've
everybody.
benefited,
So it's
and I
not a
worked in
bad
mental
thing.
health, and
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't worked as a counselor, but I've worked in that field for a long time, and I myself have benefited, and it doesn't. Hey, what if what if they would have taken a little more seriously? You know, and although it does
Oh,
seem, I know that we've talked about Lori's family.
yeah. Um, let's see. They better find a way to pay for trials in the future other than from taxpayer pockets. Yeah, I agree. And again, I'm on the same page with you on that. I see like Murdoch was on TV and that was bigger than this case just because of the people that were involved were well known. Um, there's a lot of cases that are televised and at least audio. That just to go back when I was talking about Noah McIntosh case that's coming up and hopefully in May, the father that and CPS got in trouble and everything for that case. I know I looked at all the documents and stuff, and Law and Crime did submit a request to be in there to televise that trial. So hopefully that one will get televised because that one's very near and dear to my heart for some reason because no one else is covering it and it's a horrible case. It needs attention, but hopefully they'll be in there. But I agree with you. It's the people, it's the taxpayers that pay for all these people's salaries, and we want to know justice is served and what's happening. So I'm on the same page with you on that, Chopper.
I will say, I still agree wholeheartedly. This case should be televised. I can see with seeing all the people that had knowledge of this case, I can see how it's a real concern.
But not as many people as you think have knowledge of this case.
Right,
You
and then
live
you have
there.
to find out
I talk to
exactly what
people.
kind of knowledge
Right.
they
I talk
have.
to people all the time, and they're like, "You have a YouTube channel? What do you do?" I'm like, "Have you heard about?" Nope, never heard of it. Nope, never. No,
Oh
what?
yeah, and that is true.
What?
And we
They
did.
buried kids.
It was
What?
it was kind of interesting how we found people that had not heard of the case at all,
Yeah,
and
because
until they'd actually
there are millions. There's billions, but I don't know
yeah
about in Idaho.
in
But there
in
are
Ada
a lot.
County in oh so that one grandma did stay. I did tell you that from my calculation.
Okay.
The grandma whose husband is a CFO.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just throwing that in there in case anybody wondered. She seems like
Daryl
she'll be a
Brooks is
really good
coming.
witness.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh, the
even though it
grandma.
did seem like it was a hardship, would be a bit of a hardship, her family's all pitching in to make sure her grandson gets picked up after school. And I think, that's the kind of sacrifice these people are doing. That grandma was questioned so many times, and she kept getting brought back because she knew nothing about the case. So really, we need her, so she's
Right.
doing her civic duty, and her family, everybody's sacrificing to make certain that she can be there. and without distraction either. That's another thing that Judge Boyce was emphasizing. Well, okay, well, you can do this, but do you think you'll be distracted?
Right.
And then, of course, and then also when this came up, it would also be like, you won't take it out on my client, all these sacrifices that you're making. So in any case, I feel happy with the jury pool. I feel like it was done very well. I didn't see any cause for alarm.
Good.
But having said that, I do feel that it'd be nice if we could just have it televised so we can all see what's going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't want people taking my word for it. I want you. I mean, that's how democracy works. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Nate's word for it. Don't take Kathy's word for it. See for yourself.
Oh, see, Chopper says, I did not know about the Daybell case until I was told about it, and that was during the Darrell Brooks trial, right? So yeah, and I think more people are hearing about it right now because it is going to trial, and it's 3 years old. So if you weren't paying attention 3 years ago, it hasn't really been in the news for a while. They aren't searching for the kids. So if you weren't paying attention almost 4 years ago, you probably don't know about it. You would have had to been following this from way back when, and not everybody's a true crime junkie like
right.
me.
Oh yeah, that's the one. His by the way, that gentleman whose wife is a true crime junkie. And by the way, I'm not so sure he's been removed from the.
Oh, really?
It's juror 116, and it's Tuesday afternoon. It's worth a listen. It's hilarious.
Oh, that one's funny. I remember you telling us about
it.
He's like, she keeps telling me.
So affirmation, Judge. That's the reason why you haven't signed this affirmation. Did you share this case with somebody? And he says, I did not discuss the case with anybody. My wife discussed it with me. She loves true crime. And it's actually really funny. It was cute. It gave everybody a laugh.
Have you guys ever seen
it's juror number 116.
Go ahead.
16. And it looks like that he was mentioned. Let's see. He was asked questions, I believe, on his Vordired on Tuesday.
I'm going to show you
for anybody
something.
who wants to listen.
I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you guys something that I think is just too funny not to see. Let me bring it up here. Hold on. All right, hold on. Here he comes.
Big name in EVs, trucks and vans, rentals, 5-letter word. Hex, let's go!
I just think that's hilarious. Oh, thank you so much, PLM, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind. Oh wait, hold on. This is what I always forget to do. Okay. There was another channel that did that, and I thought it was hilarious. Did I lose you there, Idaho Mom? Let me bring you back. There you are.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Anyway,
okay.
I just hit my head. I wanted to share that because you're talking about that guy's wife.
Okay, well,
that's like her.
Okay, so and I'm sorry for the technology lesson while you have viewers. So if you're sharing something, then I wouldn't be able to speak anyway. Because I was wondering if it was me.
What?
If you're sharing your screen and if I say something, but
we still
you
hear
don't seem to hear me. Oh, you can't? Okay.
We can hear you while I share my screen.
The Daybell trial and not. Although I will say that
we're here to discuss the Daybell trial. Yeah, but I mean, I go on tangents on my live streams all the time, so they know me by now. Did we lose you again? I think we lost you again. Are you muted? All right, so I think she's still here, but I think she just got muted. This is what we need, more realistic representation of our gender. Are you muted? It's my understanding the judge severed the trials because the prosecution turned over discovery so late. Yeah, I think that was a big deal. John Pryor said he wouldn't be ready for a trial and Lori wouldn't waive her speedy trial. Yep, I know that's a lot of the reason because of appeal purposes. There you are. Idaho Mom, I think you're back.
My deepest apologies, everyone. I am getting this figured out, though. And I also take comfort in, I know I'm not the only person who's been covering this case who's had these issues. For me, for right now, and for working with Kathy, I think a system we have right now, but of course, I'm always open to suggestions.
No, you're doing great. I mean, you've been amazing so far. We've learned so much. So technical difficulties or not, we want you here. And we all have them. So don't worry about it at all. And when you get lost in the portal, we'll just keep talking until you find your way back. Yeah. So, but when she comes back, because I want to wrap it up, we're an hour and a half in, and I got stuff to do, and I'm sure all of you do too. Tomorrow is Easter. For those that celebrate, happy Easter. My family is Greek Orthodox, so we celebrate next Sunday, Eastern Orthodox Easter, but we always got 2 Easter baskets when we were kids because all our friends were getting Easter baskets on. My mom would call it the American Easter. So, and my grandkids and everybody celebrate. So we got 2 Easters in our world here. And I hope you guys are have a good rest of your weekend. We will be back. I'm going to kind of work with her. She fell off again, but I'm going to work with Idaho Mom and whatever she's comfortable with. When she can come on, we'll just pop on. Some of the time, it may be just random. We may just she may just say, "Hey, let's go on," and I'm more than willing to do that. Or if she can't come on, we'll do it a different day. It's all up to you. If you want, how your day goes, because it's gonna be a long day for you in court. So if you want to come on afterwards that night, or if you want to wait till the next day, or do
I'm willing to do it any night, every night. I'm willing to do it Monday night. I'd rather, actually, to be honest, just to keep, and of course, I'll have to consult with you too, but ideally for me, I'd like to finish up the day, and if I need time to review my notes, maybe I won't need that time. But if I need some time, and Kathy, you're usually available about 6 or 7 your time.
Yeah, 7 my time is perfect, actually.
Okay, and that would work because that would be 8 o'clock at night my time. By that time, I'll have had dinner and taking care of. There are a few times, like for instance, my daughter plays lacrosse, but I really feel I can do this and work around things I may have scheduled. I'd rather take it one day at a time, if possible, every day. Just give you a recap. So I think the best way for everybody to follow me on this trial is go ahead and get on Discord, get on the we can put a link in the description. It's great. We've all enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. It's really, you can type in a name, or if you're curious about a person, and really well, and it's just it's a
yeah, it is. It's nice. And there's a lot I don't know about Discord that I probably could know. We just brought my son in to help fix us all in there and make things better. We have a whole thing on AI, so he can help us with that stuff. So, and he's that's his thing. That kid's been taking computers apart since he was born and stuff. So he definitely is helpful and can get us some lessons on Discord. I didn't even know you could just type in a name and search for something. I had no idea. All right. So, I think I'm done. She dropped off again. So I think her signal might be bad because her voice cuts out and then she drops off. Double Easter baskets sound great to me. Tradition is no chocolate through Lent for me, so I'm ready for those bunnies by Easter Day. Thanks for everything. Oh yeah, right. The Lent, no chocolate. Oh, for sure. Oh, okay. She's back one more time. We'll let her come in and say goodbye, and then we'll wrap up. Just make sure she has anything else you want to say. So before you fall off overboard again, anything else you want to say before we close? We hear you. I hear background noises, and she's here, but I don't hear her. So I'm going to, and if you can't hear me, Idaho Mom, we'll be back. We'll keep everybody posted. I will, if you want to go on Monday night, let me know and I'll make a link so that it's already up there and ready to go. And you guys will know what time and that it's happening. Okay. Sometimes I make the links at the very last minute. So just kind of pay attention to the channel for the rest of this trial. And we will definitely be updating all the time. Okay.
Yes, thank you for saying that, Kathy, because that's the honest truth is I can't really, we don't know what time. We don't really know from day to day.
Yeah.
And we don't have a witness list. We don't have, but it's a very interesting trial. And I really appreciate everybody that's been so passionate about following this trial. I know I have been, and I've really enjoyed all of Kathy's videos and her podcast. I encourage you all to watch them if you have questions, because I know I am.
You'll learn a lot. Only by mistake, I'm telling you.
I just want to take a minute to tell my wonderful father hello. I actually walked, he's an artist, so he has a studio, and he's watching us right now. So I'm trying to get a better connection. I actually watched out there, but he's so sweet. And, and it's, I'd like for him to become a channel member.
Oh, yeah. Bring him on in. My dad would have been all over this with me on here. My dad was very techie, and his whole life was electronics industry, and he was the vice president of Sony parts and service for years, and RCA television. He met my parents because he was fixing my aunt's TV way back he met my mom way back in the day, in the 50s. And they got married in 1960. So my dad would be all over this. Like he'd be a member.
My dad really enjoyed the Murdaugh trial.
Yeah.
And right during the Murdaugh trial is actually when I had my TIA. So I was at home with my mom and dad watching the Murdaugh trial for a few weeks. And I was just really thrilled that enjoying some of the stuff I've been enjoying. And so he's my new true crime buddy.
Go, cool. He's ours then too. Yeah. Hey, Dad.
Yeah. So
he can be my dad because my dad passed away.
Oh, yeah. My dad is very sweet. He's a retired college professor, and I actually, my mother's a retired high school teacher. I have wonderful parents. How's that?
Nice.
We're not the Cox family. I shouldn't have said that.
Thank God.
Putting down the Cox family. Families are family no matter what, and sometimes you have a good, And anyway, I guess we could make that the theme of another live sometime.
Right.
If we haven't already.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, thank you so much for everything, and we'll be back.
I really apologize for the technical difficulties.
You're fine. All right, bye.
And they
everybody.
will not.
Yeah, you're good. Don't even.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like 7:00 your time has worked out really well for me as far as like my internet service goes too. So. But in any case, tune in on our Discord. That always works just fine. And I haven't had any issues other than the officer getting mad at me that one time. But otherwise, all right, everybody, have a good one. And thanks so much.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Take care.
All right, everybody. So Monday's the plan. We should be back here some way, somehow, Monday evening after opening statements and first day of the trial. And we will keep going. Trying to look around here because my thing's in the way. And thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. Super chatters. I really appreciate it. Everybody that subscribed. And if you want to be a member, you can become a Left Undone member, which gives you extra privileges in Discord. and we would love to have you. And you get the emojis. It's win-win. All right. Take care.